Bop, 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 bop. Hey, what is going on, guys? Hope you are doing well today. Haven't done one of these live streams in a while, so I'm going to wait just a little bit to see who's going to join today. Uh, I wanted to spend a little bit of time and discuss some updates with the channel and some of the new things that I'm trying to get done for the rest of April. So glad to have you guys join me for today's little minor update as to what the heck's going on with the channel. And some of you might have noticed that I'm expanding the material a little bit. In the past, we've been focusing mostly on Swift and iOS development, and even during the inception of this channel, I always wanted to discuss more than just mobile development and even more than just Swift and Android. So lately, I've been putting together, some things about Flutter and MySQL. So let me kind of tell you what my thoughts are in terms of where I want to take you guys with me on the journey of this YouTube channel. So yeah, awesome stuff. Good to see everyone. We have Jorge, we have Jonathan, Zach, Pranjal, we have Zach Fuller, Fan Quang, Yolev. Good to see you. Great jacket, by the way. Thanks. What's good, dude? Cool. So yeah, we have people exploring the Kotlin videos on the channel, and the next thing I would like to do, well, let me just go through this rundown right here of channel updates. So a lot of you have probably noticed, but we finished the podcast course, which is us kind of building out an application that uses Alamo Fire, consumes JSON, use other CocoaPods, and build out an application that plays audio through the iOS audio capabilities, right? So using AVKit. If you're interested in checking out how to use AVKit to do things other than playing videos, you should, I highly recommend checking out that course down below using the link. So that's the podcast course that we finished sometime last month probably. And all lessons are up on the website. So make sure to go give that a browse. And the next thing I want to do is to actually talk about the Flutter lesson that I shot, I think 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so the interesting thing about Flutter is that it's pretty new, and with anything that's new in the world, especially in technology, it's a little bit hard to guess whether or not this technology is going to stay. So for example, React Native has picked up a lot of steam in the past, but other technologies such as like Ionic and what's the accelerator cross-platform development tool, those have kind of not not evolved as much. So I wanted to do some more videos on Flutter to explore what the possibilities are. So hopefully everyone's excited about Flutter. I like the language of Dart a lot compared to JavaScript, so that's kind of why I'm leaning towards Flutter instead of using React Native. It's not that there's anything wrong with React Native, because I actually use React.js for my website. So I wanted to explore what else we can do with Flutter. So I have some ideas. And the next thing I want to talk about is MySQL basics. So the last video that we released on the channel, we kind of discussed MySQL and how to insert, create, update, and delete things. And that's all really helpful. And the next thing I want to do is to kind of take that one step further and discuss how to set up a backend such as Node.js. And the reason why I'm picking Node.js is because it's really easy to set up. I would advise against doing, I don't know, things that are hard like Google Go. Java as a backend is kind of hard. PHP is one of the easier ones to learn. So if you want to learn PHP, you can do that as well. The reason why I'm choosing Node is because the setup work to actually get Node up and running is really easy. All right, so let me take a sip of my coffee here. So let me ask or answer some questions, or let me just finish the rundown here, and then I'll get to some of the questions, and then I'll probably head out and head to the gym and play some basketball. Anyone else excited about the NBA playoffs? This is probably the most exciting part of the year because NBA playoffs are so exciting. The whole build up towards postseason, finals and who wins the championship. It's super exciting for me. So Node.js setting up as a backend. I am probably going to push Node.js in the next week. Just a quick video to introduce everyone to Node.js and Express and how to handle GET requests and probably POST requests. And then next thing I'll do is I'll show you guys how to put this backend on a server on Heroku. Heroku is free. You can pay for it if you want to for a more powerful machine, but Heroku allows us to put our Node.js server and then serve some JSON or custom JSON to our mobile applications very, very easily. And I'm all about doing things easy at first. You never want to go into like a full-blown framework solution because it's difficult to understand how those pieces of technology, how they work. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. One Swift course or Swift set of lessons that I wanted to teach is the Tinder swiping feature. Already have most of that code done already on a separate project. So I just need to kind of shoot those videos. And then next, we are probably going to move on to Kotlin for Android. I know a lot of people are waiting for more material on Android. I don't know exactly how I'm prioritizing this stuff, but the thing I really want to focus on is backend technology, because a lot of iOS developers, I guess one of their strong points is developing iOS apps, right? And then the things that they're not so strong on is probably backend technologies. And it's probably one of the most useful things. Like, knowing backend is more useful than knowing more mobile, if that makes any sense. If you want to be a mobile developer, knowing backend is actually more helpful, and it'll actually help you get a job even more than knowing more mobile. Like, learning more Swift actually won't get you a job as much as learning backend technologies. That's probably a little bit counterintuitive, but that's what I've found to be the case. And the reason for that is because when someone's hiring you to be an iOS developer, a Swift developer, they're hiring you to like communicate with a server. And if you know how the server works, then that's like, you cut off like half of the ramp up time when you actually get hired on. So that's kind of the reason why a backend course is helpful. Yeah, so in addition to delivering some backend lessons, we wanted to do some Kotlin Android stuff. That's really a lot of fun. I like Kotlin a lot. And then next, we want to probably do something with Flutter, and maybe a Flutter Firebase Instagram style course. I think will be helpful for you guys. But I don't know. That's kind of like on the last of the priority. And yeah, that's kind of it for the updates on this channel. NBA playoffs, like I said, pretty exciting time for me. The reason why NBA playoffs is exciting is you can just sit home, watch 4 games in a row, and pretty much you'll have your whole day covered just watching 4 games. And yeah, I think this year the teams are pretty evenly matched. From what we saw yesterday, the 4 games, other than the Warriors against the Spurs, all of the 3 other games were pretty evenly matched until I think the 4th quarter. So let me give some of my predictions for the NBA playoffs. First round at least. I think the Raptors against the Wizards. The Raptors are going to win that one. And then we have Warriors are going to probably take it in 4 games. I'm predicting a sweep against the Spurs. And then we have the Pelicans versus the Blazers. I feel like the Pelicans are going to win in probably 5 or 6 games. I'll probably bet on 6 games. Yeah. Okay. Is my stream still on? I think I'm having some issues with the stream here. Am I offline? Am I on? Stream cut. Hopefully I'm still on. I don't know where the stream's at. Can you guys still hear the audio? I think OBS is glitching out on me a little bit. Can you guys still hear me? Let's see. Yeah, it was cut off for a little bit. Okay. So, let me try to answer some questions, I guess. And then we'll see where we can go from there. Let's see. Yeah, future courses on Flutter. I'm not 100% sure on Flutter yet. It's a technology that's super new, and it's great for people that don't want to learn native, but native is something that I always recommend in the first place. And then cross-platform is, if you're interested in it, there are special use cases for cross-platform that is definitely good for startups. So Raphael Rater says, bought all of your courses. They are great. Would you add the hashtags on Instagram course? To be honest, I'm not exactly like a big user of hashtags, so I don't know exactly the like, I know the purpose behind hashtags, but I don't use it so much for me to understand exactly how I want to implement it. So even you don't remember all the code that you do. Yeah, something that some junior developers are probably asking a lot is, okay, I think the stream is definitely not responding. I think I'm going to close some of these browser tabs. I think my computer is dying slowly. Yes, I'm trying to keep the stream alive for probably the next 10 minutes. And hopefully the stream quality is good. I think I'm probably overexposed right now. But anyways, so priority-wise, which one of these announced courses will we be seeing first? So I'm going to push out Node.js on the YouTube channel and just push out a couple of different videos. And then I'll probably do something with Kotlin. I have some ideas on some more Swift courses, but we'll have to see how far I get. Yeah. There's kind of a good question. I want to be an iOS developer. I've completed my engineering in CS but did not learn much. Will you recommend doing Udemy iOS course just for a beginner? So I've never taken any Udemy courses myself. I guess there are some good ones on there. But yeah, Udemy is really good for, I guess, beginning and just trying to see what's out there in terms of iOS. But if you're trying to dive like just a little bit deeper past the surface, then Udemy's not great for that. But yeah, if you're a beginner, there's nothing wrong with taking Udemy courses. There's also courses, on my website that you can take as well that should be helpful. Instagram Firebase course, will you continue to release the full code? I've pretty much released all that I have in terms of my own source code, and for $50, I think that's a really good deal. We have about 49 lessons. Um, Considering all the time that is in that's spent and all the source code that's available, yeah, I think $50 is a solid deal. You're probably getting much more than $50, obviously. If you measure it in terms of a boot camp pricing schedule, the whole course is maybe like $10,000 or $20,000 in terms of a boot camp pricing. So yeah, you're definitely getting a whole lot. And actually, that's the same way. Same thing goes for most of the other courses. You're paying like $40, $50, but you're really getting probably $10,000 or $20,000 of my time. So that's what's great about online courses, right? You can just set it up, and then whoever that wants to learn out of those courses, then it's just available online. The thing about bootcamp and in-person teaching is that you actually get to talk to me, which is probably the most important thing about boot camps. But yeah, there's always the comment section. And yeah, I do encourage people to leave comments on each one of these lessons. And that's why I built the website the way that it looks right now, so that you can easily leave a comment and I can easily answer as fast as I can. Yeah. So instead of Flutter, why not React Native? I'm more of a fan of the Dart programming language over JavaScript, but they're both the same. I wouldn't really consider one or using one over the other. The only reason why I put out Flutter on my channel is because it's relatively new and it's gotten a lot of views, so I assume people are interested. But you never know. Yeah, really eager to see backend and Kotlin Firebase. Yep. How many questions do we have today? Okay, I think that's the last of the questions. 10:40 right now. How much more do I want to answer for today? When you do apps or clients, do you use Node.js or other technologies? That's a good question. For the most part, clients don't really care about what you use as a backend. The thing that I would recommend is to use a piece of technology that can easily be maintained by other developers. And yeah, Node.js is one of those. Ryan says, what web technology courses are you thinking about releasing? I want more in mainly C#, JavaScript, Node.js, and Azure. So I haven't really touched C# in like 10 years. JavaScript, Node.js is something that I use a lot. Not so much Node.js, but JavaScript is something I use a lot. I'm not an expert in JavaScript because not everyone can actually learn JavaScript that easily. I only use React.js because it makes JavaScript super simple, and yeah, most React.js apps are just pretty much like getting some data from the internet and then rendering it on the page. It's quite simple. So how scalable is Firebase? So I believe Twitch used to use Firebase. I don't know if they still do. So if Twitch, this multi-billion-dollar company, can use Firebase for, I think, their chatting features, then yeah, it's pretty scalable. I don't know in terms of costs. I don't know if that's scalable or not. It's definitely something that you should look into if you're just a startup. If you can't afford a backend engineer, I would just recommend using Firebase. So why not do a React.js course? So React.js, I actually want to do that as well. Whenever I put up the Node.js course, I'll put up some React.js content to be able to support the Node.js backend. And we'll do some web development with React.js. Stripe and Swift. So Stripe and Swift is something that I was planning on doing for the next Swift iOS course on the website. So some people are talking to me on Facebook. There's a Facebook group. I believe there's a link down below that we have this discussion on the next course that is probably going to model the Uber or the Lyft app. So maybe we're going to touch up on or touch Maps, MapKit, or maybe Google Maps, one of those two libraries. And in order to charge customers that are booking taxis, booking rides, then we're going to have to use something like Stripe to actually charge for payment. So we'll look at that when the time comes. And, I feel like there's always a ton of different things to talk about in terms of technology. I'm a big fan of a lot of different technologies and a lot of different languages. And if you're trying to be an engineer, it's like really helpful and beneficial for you to understand a lot of this stuff. And that's kind of why I got into software development anyways, so I can learn about these new things. All right. So, any more questions? Have I ever freelanced? If so, how did you find the work? So yeah, I freelanced for a little bit. I don't really like freelancing. I rather sit here and just make YouTube videos, but obviously that's really hard to sustain. Making YouTube videos is not exactly going to provide you with a lot of money. So yeah, pretty new to the channel. This contacts course on YouTube. Have more episodes somewhere. Can only find the first 5. Love the content. So yeah, a lot of the YouTube videos, they're not as long as the courses that you can purchase through the website. So yeah, obviously I can't provide too much on the channel because otherwise I won't be able to pay for my internet. Any videos on testing in the future? So this is something that I've been thinking about as well. The podcast course has been completed, but I want to provide some testing lessons on the podcast course because we have a really good opportunity to lay out some foundations for testing. So that's kind of been on my mind lately. I don't know if I'll be able to have a chance to do it. Adam Warren says that I'll hire you anytime YouTube is not paying you enough. Well, that's good. I get a lot of contacts through the YouTube channel and the website. People want me to work for them, but obviously, it's even starting the conversation of freelancing and contracting for someone takes a lot of work and takes a lot of emailing back and forth, discussing the project, discussing payment, scheduling, time estimates, and things of that nature. Makes that process not all that fun for me. Yeah, if I were to do like freelancing or contracting full time, I would rather just work for a company instead. Yeah, so I get contacted by companies and I don't really interview anymore, but if I wanted to do work again, I would just work for a company full time. Because contracting is stressful. I don't know if you guys have ever done it yourself. Like trying to find contracts, promoting yourself, keeping track of all these records, making your contracts or writing them out, hoping that you'll get future contracts, make sure that payment is received. Yeah. Not exactly what I want to do. 40, 50 hours a day. Yeah. Any advice for junior developer resumes? Yeah, so someone had a question about resume the other day. You just want to make sure that you follow the templates that are online. If you stray too far from templates, then it makes it really hard to read. I think there's one thing about resumes that I'll say right off the bat here. They're not as important as you think. The only thing about a resume that is important is that you want to make sure the person looking at it is able to read it. Uh, Other than that, so that's actually the first step. Once the recruiter is able to like look at some keywords at your resume, then they'll send it over to like the actual engineering team. And if you can't get past the first step of the recruiter, then your resume is not going to be that useful. Thoughts on the Facebook roller coaster? It seems that Congress don't know what they're asking. So yeah, Facebook roller coaster. I have my thoughts on that. After watching a lot of the videos on the Congress asking Mark Zuckerberg all those questions, the thing that I walked away with is that uh, a people in Congress are way too old in terms of technology. They're not really aware of how the internet works anymore. Like they probably had an understanding maybe 10 years ago, but in the span of 10 years, a lot has happened, and the way social media works is complicated. So it's understandable that Congress doesn't know about how Facebook operates nowadays, and they don't know how ad targeting works, and they don't even know what Facebook means when they sell that when they say that they sell ads, because you hear a lot of these questions like, okay, are companies actually seeing the data that belongs to their users of Facebook? No, they're not seeing the data. Like Facebook has that data and they don't share that. What they do is the companies like they want to sell skis, and these are the skiers on Facebook, and you know, Facebook is the middleman that says, okay, you'll see these ads for these users. Um, so yeah, overall, I feel like Mark Zuckerberg did a really good job in answering the questions to the extent that he can, and he did a good job in not like putting down anyone, because it's really easy, especially if you come from Silicon Valley, to kind of look down on people that don't understand technology. And during that whole 5 hour that 5 hour session with Zuckerberg, he like never did he kind of look down on the people there. So I think he did a good job. If anything, I feel like Congress was super aggressive, and that didn't really work in their favor. Uh, yeah. Uh, okay. So it is about 11 o'clock. I am going to try to make my exit out of here, and I will probably see you guys later on. Yeah, I will probably peace out of here, and hopefully you guys enjoy the NBA playoffs as much as I do. So bye bye, guys.